In the words of the newest member of the Syracuse basketball program, Donnie Freeman, Syracuse basketball is back. The four-star top 40 player in the class of 2024 commits to Syracuse just 30 minutes ago. Let's break it all down. I'm fired up. So are you guys. Twitter's exploding. I've got a Syracuse hat on. It's hideous, but I don't care. Let's have some fun because Donnie Freeman comes to Syracuse, and Syracuse basketball is starting a comeback like we've been wanting for nearly a decade.
Are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up? What's happening? Welcome into your Locked On Syracuse Thursday episode. I'm Owen Valentine saying thank you so much for making Locked On Syracuse your first listen today and every day, free and available wherever you get podcasts. This is a huge episode because we have massive news. It's news that we've been speaking about for the last couple of weeks. We saw Donnie Freeman liking what he's seen from Syracuse, Autry and company at his games. Brendan Strawn, the team takeover connection, makes his way into this conversation. Then you see a top five. Then you see some crystal balls. Then you see some predictions. We have been talking for weeks and weeks about the possibility of Donnie Freeman, four-star, top 40 player in the class of 2024, committing to Syracuse. And this afternoon, we got the news that we have been on the edge of our seat for some time. Donnie Freeman joins Syracuse's 2024 class, pairs up with Elijah Moore to bring together Syracuse's best class since like 2016, even a little bit earlier than there. You could say this could be and has the makings to be Syracuse's best class since before the sanctions, before the loss of scholarships from the Boeheim punishment. This is the return of Syracuse basketball. Adrian Autry has something magical going on right now. It's been 2 months and a couple of days since he took over as the head coach, and things have been absolutely beautiful. You tip the cap to him. You tip the cap to Brendan Strawn, the new addition to the coaching staff that you bring in. This is gigantic news because it symbolizes what we have been looking for. The horizon, the grass actually being greener on the other side. We had talked about it for so long. What does this post-Boeheim era look like? And it seems like we have a crystal clear picture. The water is still. The birds are peacefully chirping. The sun is setting beautifully, not because the day is over, but because that's just what it's like right now. It is as peaceful as possible. You're laying on a hammock. Maybe Bob Marley's singing in the background for all I know. It is perfection. The post-Boeheim era and the Adrian Autry 2.5-month era so far at the head of Syracuse basketball has been absolutely wonderful. Donnie Freeman commits to Syracuse. He is, per On3, the number 36 player in the class using their he is the number 6 power forward in this forced 6'9" power forward out of St. John's High School in Washington, D.C. Commits today. And right now, this is something that we've teased, something we've been looking for. On3 has Syracuse basketball, albeit early on, ranked the number 6 recruiting class in the country. When is the last time that's happened? I don't know. That is how big of a commitment this is. We are looking right now at a future that looks incredible for Syracuse basketball. And you are beginning to bring in players that have the capabilities to set you up for years and years to come. This is the start of what we are looking for and what we've been asking for and what we have wanted with regards to Syracuse basketball for a handful, if not more than a handful of years, for certain fans. And you got to tip the cap to Adrian Autry and this coaching staff. Donnie Freeman says that Autry is real and he's authentic and he's not going to BS you by any means. He's going to tell you it how it is. And that was one of the biggest reasons that Freeman credited to Adrian Autry and this Syracuse coaching staff to wanting to come to Syracuse, is that authenticity. And you've seen it. Autry and the entire staff have been there, been a consistent presence, a consistent voice in his ear. We just heard about this from Naheem McLeod on our Wednesday episode of Locked On Syracuse, that was one of the biggest things that stood out to him, was how authentic, how real, how genuine, and how straight up Adrian Autry was to him in the film session that they had. That authenticity, that I am going to be real with you. I'm not going to lie to you to bring you here. I'm not going to tell you you're better than you are to bring you here. We're going to have real conversations because that is what's best for both parties. For Donnie Freeman, he is going to be able to improve and grow the most if he's getting real feedback from Adrian Autry on ways that he thinks that they can fit in Syracuse, and ways that he thinks that Freeman can improve, on ways that you think he could adapt his game slightly to see more success. This is gigantic because not only can Freeman improve, so can Syracuse as a result of it. Now that Donnie knows this, you didn't have Donnie come in and say, hey, man, everything that you do is perfect. Your shot is perfect. Your finishing's perfect. Your defense is perfect. Your build is perfect. You don't have to change a thing. Just go home and do exactly what you're doing. They were real with him. They had these real, authentic, genuine conversations. And that is now, twice this week, what we've heard as one of the most impressive things about this new era of Syracuse basketball coaching. That goes a really, really long way with recruits. It's going a long way with transfers. It's going a long way in general. And in 2 months as the head coach at Syracuse, Adrian Autry has brought in J.J. Starling, one of the most sought-after transfers in the portal, a former 5-star recruit. Adrian Autry has brought in Chance Westry, rekindled the relationship with Chance Westry, who they recruited the first time around and have found some success with. Bring in a guy now that is Syracuse's best recruit, or a top 3 recruit in the last decade for Syracuse. You've got Tyus in that picture. You've got Benny, numbers-wise, in that picture. Let me double check, make sure I didn't miss anyone. But that is the caliber of player that Donnie Freeman is a top 3 player in the last decade for Syracuse basketball. Maybe we go to 2015. Okay, Malachi and McCullough. Okay, so we'll say almost the past decade. It's he's a top 5 player in the last decade when you look at Chris McCullough and you also add Malachi into the mix as well. I still think a top 5 recruit right now says everything you need to know about what this means. A top 5 recruit in the last decade for Syracuse, and pairing him up with the best recruiting class since 2016. When you look at the duo of him and Elijah Moore, this is gigantic. This is huge. This is exciting. Be fired up. I used a lot of inappropriate language when I heard him say that he was coming to Syracuse. A lot of F's, a lot of H's, a lot of S's, a lot of LFGs. We had some fun. I went nuts. My dog was probably in the other room. I was at the house, then my internet died. So I'm at my parents' house right now to get this episode out. My dog was in the other room. He probably thought I was going berserk. He thought I was being attacked. I was going bonkers. There was no one else in my house. That's how exciting this is. Twitter is going crazy, rightfully so. This is huge news for Syracuse, and anyone that wants to tell you otherwise, anyone that wants to belittle the importance of this news needs to get a reality check, needs to strap in, needs to figure things out, because they are dead wrong. This is the biggest news in terms of Syracuse basketball making its success in some time. And maybe you could argue, and maybe this is where we go after the break here in a second, that the biggest news is truly the coaching change, right? The switch from Boeheim to Autry. And this is the first time that you are really, really, really starting to see what that transition means in terms of recruiting for Syracuse. Take a quick break. Let's talk a little bit about Built Bar. If you are looking for a delicious snack, but you don't want all the sugar and calories, you need the best tasting protein bar ever. It's Built. You got to try this. If you're like me, you want to make some healthier snack choices, but you don't want to compromise on taste, I've got just the thing for you. Built Bars and Built Puffs. They're healthy. They taste amazing. You won't think they're good for you. And what makes them so good? They're covered in 100% real dark chocolate. That's right. It's real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and cookies and cream. I don't know how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is they're healthy. 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, and a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering Built bars at Built.com, but now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. Well, you can still get those specialty flavors at Built.com. So go to Walmart, go to Sam's Club, go to Built.com, and then come back here to Locked On Syracuse and thank me later. All right, Owen Valentine on your Locked On Syracuse Thursday episode, Donnie Freeman's episode. And this is probably the third rendition of the Donnie Freeman episode because we had it early on when things started to look like it could be a possibility Syracuse was in that conversation. And then we had it when we started to see the crystal balls and the predictions coming to Syracuse. And then we had it again when Syracuse makes the top 5 and the commitment date is announced. And here we are on what is the final rendition for now of the Donnie Freeman episode of Syracuse, Locked On Syracuse. It's exciting. I'm fired up. You should be fired up. I haven't stopped smiling. It's fun to be talking about fun things, and landing a recruit of this caliber is incredibly fun. Get your beach balls out, put some music on, spray some champagne, grab a beer, grab a little glass of whiskey, do your thing, partake in what you want to partake in right now. Have some fun and celebrate. I said Twitter's going nuts. I posted the announcement tweet an hour ago, and this is already, I believe, the most liked tweet since I have joined Locked On Syracuse with over 300 likes in less than an hour. People are excited, as you should be. This is like the first time you started to get back outside after COVID, right? You're starting to meet up with some friends. You take the mask off. We're having some fun. We are gone from the Boeheim era. And we'll talk about that a little bit because a few people have pointed this out to me. And this is the conversation that I think a lot of people want to have, and a conversation that I'm sure we'll return to as we progress in this off season. Is this the result of finally knowing in stone who you're getting as a coach? And you see it with Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore was ecstatic with Adrian Autry, still is ecstatic with Adrian Autry, loses an NIL deal, doesn't care, wants to play for Adrian Autry. Donnie Freeman wants to come play for Adrian Autry. It's a weight off the shoulders of recruits. It is a question that no longer has to be answered. And you can say, hey, nice to meet you, or coach, if you come to Syracuse. It's a lot different from the, I'm Jim Boeheim. I have been on the brink of retirement for a decade. Some people want me gone. Others think I can stay, but aren't really sold on me. And some people are up in arms at the whatever that is Jim Boeheim still coaching. It's a question that no longer has to be addressed. And it seems like that is a huge, huge factor that can also contribute to the uptick in recruiting in the 2 months since that transition. Adrian Autry, Jerry McNamara, Alan Griffin, and Brennan Strawn in 2 months have started to manufacture what has the potential to make Syracuse a return into the blue blood conversation. That is genuinely how important I think the last 2 months have been for Syracuse basketball. I think Syracuse is trending in the direction of blue blood caliber once again. That is the type of change that this has been. That is the type of impact that Adrian Autry has had in 10 weeks at Syracuse as the head coach. I don't think I'm overreacting. I don't think I'm blowing smoke here. I think that is genuinely the impact that has been witnessed for Syracuse. And I'll be the first to put my hand up. I didn't know what to expect from Adrian Autry. I didn't know what kind of follow-up there would be, if it would get worse before it got better. That sort of deal. And I think I was dead wrong. This is better than I could have imagined, right? There's that quote with, what if you find out it was better than you could have imagined? And that is sort of what this is right now. This is better than I could have imagined things to be for Syracuse basketball. When you look at the state of what things were 2.5 months ago, when Syracuse loses its first game in the ACC tournament, you have the chaotic botchery of, I don't know, am I the coach? Am I not the coach? To, Syracuse chimes in, you're not the coach anymore. Adrian Autry is the coach. Oh, now we know. We knew that was the plan the whole time. Syracuse has its worst 2-year stretch ever under Boeheim. Absolutely brutal. First losing season, a year that wasn't good. No tournament back-to-back years. It wasn't good. And in 2 months, I'm saying, not going completely nuts here, genuinely believing it, that Syracuse is back. And they are back in the right direction, exponentially headed in the right direction. Get on the train. They are back. This is exciting. And Syracuse is doing this at an incredible rate, right? These are still early commitments in the class of 2024. Early commitments in the class of 2024. And now you put your eyes on what else can they do in that class? Is there more that they can add? Can they look for some other guys? Who else is offered? Where else can things be? We are getting selfish. Maybe a top 10 player in the country in Boogie Farm wants to join now that you got some stuff going on here. Maybe a guy in, I don't know, Thomas Sorber, 4-star center, who Syracuse has been in talks with, wants to join the conversation. Maybe a guy in Jalil Bethea, another top 50 player in the country, wants to continue joining this conversation. This impact and the impact of the last 2.5 months, I'm not sure we've even seen the true, I can't think of another word than impact. The true results of this, the true change that this embarks for Syracuse basketball. I don't think we've seen it yet. We're starting to see, but the water right now still rippling a little bit, maybe because of the splash that Syracuse has had with Adrian Autry taking over. And once that water settles, we will start to figure out the longevity of this commitment, the impact of this commitment, and the path that has now been reimagined, shaken up, and you just found the map that leads you to success. And here we are. What a time to be a Syracuse basketball fan. What a time to be a Syracuse fan right now. I texted probably 30, 40 people the second that news came out. People texting me the second that news came out. Conversations happening instantly as to the impact of this and what this means and how things go from here. People are talking in a positive light about Syracuse basketball once again. We've made our way away from the graphics of once blue bloods that aren't in the tournament, or once blue bloods with a terrible resume, or this guy is coaching Syracuse basketball and we've got issues and things aren't working. That is in the past right now. And the conversation is, holy hell, look at Syracuse basketball making a stand, saying, hey, we're back. We're still here. We're ready to do it. Becoming, once again, a recruiting presence and a team that is getting players over big name schools and good quality oppositions in the recruiting rankings, things like that. This is huge. And I cannot wait to see what happens next. Join the conversation. Reach out on Twitter. Send me a tweet at LO_Syracuse. Say what's up. Say what's happening. Tell me how excited you are at this point in time. How excited are you right now to be a fan of Syracuse basketball? I am ecstatic. We got this up here. I'm shifting to the side. Get me over here. Donnie Freeman, welcome to Syracuse. Let's go. Let's go. This is exciting. And I'm out of words besides it's exciting. It's energizing. It's worth shouting. Woo! Huge. Syracuse basketball, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Genuinely. It's what a day. I mean this so genuinely, that we have gone through one of the worst stretches in the last 60 years, 50 years to be a Syracuse basketball fan. One of the worst half decades that you could be a fan of Syracuse basketball. And right now, things look good. Things are happy. Go home, enjoy, celebrate, have some conversations, continue having conversations, because this is what a time to be a fan of Syracuse basketball right now. I think that's where we leave it for your Locked On Syracuse Thursday episode. Your Locked On Syracuse Friday, I tried to record earlier. My internet crashed. So that didn't get recorded. So your Thursday episode becomes strictly Donnie Freeman. And we get this out a little bit earlier than you would have anticipated. Feel free. Shoot me a comment. Let me know what you think about Donnie Freeman, the type of impact he can have. He is an explosive player. I really haven't even talked about him as a player on this episode. He is absolutely explosive, finishes really, really well. And I think, as you see with a lot of these top players, you can see what they can do, but you also see there's so much more potential-wise and ceiling-wise that goes with it, that is something worth just genuinely being excited about. Hit me on Twitter at LO_Syracuse. Send me a DM. Send me a tweet. Join in on this conversation. If you do not, I'd love it if you hit the follow button, turn on the notification bell, get instantly notified when videos go live. If you're on YouTube, if you're watching or listening to this, wherever you get your podcasts, it goes a long way. If you do hit that subscribe button, leave us a rating, and maybe throw a review in there if you're feeling kind. If you're not feeling kind, leave your reviews at home. Oops, did I say that out loud? I'm just messing with you. Do what you want. They go a long way. They help grow the channel, and they help me out tremendously as well. So if you got any questions, feel free to do so. I'm Owen Valentine. I'm going to go have a drink. Maybe even 2. I'll have 3 drinks, 4 drinks for all I care. 4 drinks for as many stars as Donnie Freeman's got. 6 drinks maybe for the class that Syracuse currently has in 2024 in On3's rankings. I might get drunk. Throw it out there. Oops. I said it out loud. That's how we end the episode today. Be kind. Smile today. Make somebody else smile. Have a wonderful Thursday night. And I will catch you tomorrow morning with your Locked On Syracuse Friday episode. Have a great day, everybody. Syracuse basketball, in the words of Donnie Freeman, is back. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.